The global aviation landscape, long dominated by the familiar names of Boeing and Airbus, is witnessing the steady rise of a new and formidable challenger. This contender comes from China, in the form of the Comac C929 wide-body jet. It represents more than just a new aircraft. It symbolizes a strategic ambition to break the Western duopoly that has defined long-haul air travel for decades. The C929 is designed to go head-to-head with the highly successful Boeing 787 Dreamliner and the Airbus A350. Its creation is a clear signal that China is no longer content with simply being the world's largest market for air travel, but is determined to become a key manufacturer as well. This new aircraft is a cornerstone of China's long-term industrial strategy. The project is being led by the state-owned Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, or COMAC. This is the same company behind the smaller C919 narrow-body jet, which competes with the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320. With the C929, COMAC is scaling up its ambitions significantly, venturing into the complex and lucrative wide-body market. The aircraft is being designed to carry between 280 and 400 passengers, placing it squarely in the most popular segment of long-haul travel. The goal is to first serve China's massive domestic and regional routes before eventually competing on the global stage. The progress on the C929 has been methodical and deliberate. After initially starting as a joint venture with Russia's United Aircraft Corporation, COMAC is now moving forward with the project independently. This shift underscores China's confidence in its own aerospace capabilities. As of early 2025, the detailed design work on the aircraft structure is well underway, marking a critical milestone in its development. In a significant vote of confidence, Air China was announced as the C929's launch customer in late 2024. This commitment from the national flag carrier provides the program with essential momentum and a clear path towards its first flight and entry into service. The very existence of the C929 forces a reaction, even if unspoken, from the boardrooms in Seattle and Toulouse. For years, Boeing and Airbus have competed fiercely with each other, but the competitive dynamic has been largely predictable. The C929 introduces a new state-backed player with the potential to disrupt established market shares, especially in the Asia-Pacific region. While Boeing's leadership has not issued a direct public statement on the C929's latest milestones, the company's strategy is undoubtedly being shaped by this emerging reality. The Chinese market represents a huge portion of Boeing's order backlog, making any homegrown competitor a subject of intense focus and strategic calculation. An aircraft as complex as a wide-body jet is not built in isolation. It is a global puzzle, assembled from components and systems sourced from specialists around the world. The C929 is no exception. Despite escalating trade tensions between the United States and China, COMAC has successfully continued to forge partnerships with key Western suppliers. This was clearly demonstrated at the 2025 Paris Air Show, where several important deals were announced. These agreements are crucial, as they allow COMAC to integrate proven, state-of-the-art technology into its new aircraft, which helps to de-risk the development process and enhance the C929's appeal to potential airline customers looking for reliability. The list of international partners highlights this strategy of global collaboration. For instance, the American firm Crane Aerospace and Electronics was selected to provide the door signal system for the C929. Similarly, the French aerospace giant Safran signed a memorandum of understanding to supply a range of critical systems. These include the braking and steering controls, tire pressure monitoring, the crew oxygen system, and ice detection equipment. By securing these deals, COMAC is not just acquiring technology, it is also building a global supply chain that mirrors the established models of Boeing and Airbus, signaling its serious intent to compete on their level. However, the most critical component of any modern jetliner is its engines, and this remains the C929's biggest question mark. While Western suppliers are providing many systems, China is determined to develop its own high-bypass turbofan engines to power the aircraft. The primary candidate is the domestically produced CJ2000 engine, which is currently deep in development. This effort is part of a massive national push to achieve self-sufficiency in aerospace propulsion technology, thereby breaking its reliance on Western engine makers like General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, and Rolls-Royce. An independent engine capability is seen as essential for China's long-term strategic autonomy in aviation. The path to developing a reliable and efficient jet engine is incredibly challenging, expensive, and time-consuming. It is arguably the most difficult part of creating a new aircraft. The CJ2000 must prove it can deliver the required thrust, fuel efficiency, and long-term reliability to be competitive with the latest powerplants offered by its Western rival. While China has made significant progress, the final performance of its homegrown engine will be a key factor in determining the C929's overall success. Until the CJ2000 is fully proven and certified, the engine question will remain the program's most significant technical and strategic challenge. Building a technologically sound aircraft is only half the battle. Ensuring it can legally fly in skies around the world is another monumental challenge. The C929, like the C919 before it, faces a major hurdle in obtaining certification from the two leading global aviation authorities, the United States Federal Aviation Administration and the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. Without these approvals, the C929's market will be largely restricted to China and a handful of other nations that recognize Chinese certification standards. This is perhaps the single greatest barrier to COMAC's ambition of becoming a true global competitor to Boeing and Airbus. The certification process is rigorous, lengthy, and deeply technical, designed to ensure an aircraft meets the highest international safety standards. As of April 2025, European regulators estimated that certifying the smaller C919 could still take several years. The process for the larger and more complex C929 will likely be even more demanding. This timeline gives Boeing and Airbus a significant window to continue dominating the international wide-body market. COMAC's current strategy appears to be focused on securing its home market first, targeting markets in Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America that are more open to Chinese certification in the short term. Compounding the challenge of certification are the persistent and often unpredictable headwinds of geopolitics. The strategic competition between the United States and China has spilled over into the aerospace sector. In June 2025, the United States government tightened export restrictions on certain aerospace technologies to China, directly impacting the supply of components for COMAC's aircraft programs. These trade barriers create uncertainty for Western suppliers and could potentially disrupt the C929's development timeline. It forces COMAC to walk a fine line, balancing its need for foreign technology with the political imperative to develop a domestic supply chain. This complex geopolitical environment puts both COMAC and its potential customers in a difficult position. Airline executives such as Tony Fernandez of the Capital A Group have expressed interest in Chinese aircraft, but have also voiced concerns about being caught in the middle of United States-China trade disputes. An airline's decision to purchase an aircraft is a multi-decade investment, and political stability is a key consideration. The success of the C929 will therefore depend not only on its technical merits and operational economics, but also on COMAC's ability to navigate these turbulent geopolitical waters and reassure the global market of its stability as a long-term partner. For decades, Boeing's primary concern in the wide-body market was Airbus. Now, the C929 represents a credible long-term threat that could fundamentally reshape the competitive landscape. The immediate impact will be felt in the Chinese market, which is projected to be the world's largest aviation market for the foreseeable future. Boeing has historically relied on massive orders from Chinese airlines to support its production lines and financial forecasts. As of the first quarter of 2025, China-related orders accounted for a significant portion of Boeing's backlog. The emergence of a viable homegrown alternative in the C929 gives Chinese airlines a powerful new option, potentially diverting hundreds of future orders away from Boeing. This situation creates a strategic dilemma for Boeing's leadership. On one hand, China remains a critically important customer that the company cannot afford to alienate. On the other hand, China's state-backed aerospace champion, COMAC, is now a direct competitor. This forces Boeing to perform a delicate balancing act. It must continue to sell to and support its Chinese customers, while simultaneously competing against a new aircraft that will inevitably erode its market share in the region. The C929's success could reduce Boeing's negotiating leverage with Chinese buyers and put downward pressure on aircraft prices, impacting profitability. Beyond the direct competition for aircraft sales, the C929's progress also signals a broader shift in global industrial power. China's growing capabilities in high-tech manufacturing, from design and assembly to complex engine development, challenge the long-held technological supremacy of Western aerospace giants. This is not just about one aircraft. It is about the development of an entire aerospace ecosystem. As China's capabilities mature, it could become a leader in new technologies and standards, forcing companies like Boeing to adapt to a new and more complex global environment where innovation can come from anywhere. Ultimately, the rise of the C929 is a wake-up call for the established duopoly. It serves as a powerful reminder that the global aviation market is not static. While significant challenges remain for COMAC, the C929 program is backed by immense national will and resources. For Boeing, the surprising speed of its progress is a clear signal that the competitive dynamics of the 21st century will be vastly different from those of the 20th. The company's future success will depend not just on competing with Airbus, but on formulating a long-term strategy to address a new, determined, and highly capable competitor from the East.